G'day guys and welcome back to Gans_Gaming for another Dokkan Battle video. So for today's video we've just literally had the Heroes units details all drop all in one go. It's pretty amazing, so no need to wait for translations or anything. JP and Global dropped them at the same time, so let's run on through these here. So we're going to start with Janemba Modified, Black Janemba, whatever you want to call him. He is a crossover 3 key 150 lead, so a bit of a nothing there for us. But this is where we want to jump into. A lot of this is about the passive. So as you can see, he launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack when facing 2 or more enemies. Guards all attacks for 5 turns from the character's first turn. So that's the super important thing there. That guard is obviously going to give him quite a bit more usability. So that's definitely really good. As you can see, we've also got attack and defense plus 40% per crossover category ally on the team. That sucks because that pretty much does mean that you are going to run this guy on a full crossover team here. He gets an additional attack plus 80% with each attack performed up to 240, so a pretty high number there. And then an additional defense plus 60% with each attack received up to 180. So he then gets 2 key and great chance of performing a crit starting from the character's next turn after receiving his 5th attack. Crit's a bit of a nothing, so that is a little bit annoying, but look, not the end of the world there. Then as we click down to this one, I don't know what's going on here with my Twitter. His super attack is that he does raise attack and defense by 30% and then lowers enemy attack and defense for 3 turns. So not a bad super attack effect. Getting the defense is definitely good, but I feel like, yeah, he's very limited to the crossover team. I know he's got that guard, but they probably could have given him a little bit more rather than giving the crit. I don't think crit's going to find a great deal of use for us here. I'm literally just going to scroll through these as we go. So then we've got the golden metal cooler. Sticker will go pretty hard on him when he gets his easy A there. Again, another crossover 3 key 150%. So for Metal Cooler, you got the attack and defense plus 200%. So start of turn there, he gets an additional 80% if his HP is above 50%, which is going to be pretty regular. When performing a super attack, launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack. So we'll check out his super attack after, but you can see greatly raised defense there already, so that's really, really good. He then reduces damage by 20% as a base, and then key plus 1 up to 5, and then plus an additional attack plus 40% up to 200%, and an additional damage reduction of 8% up to 40% per crossover category ally. So again, another one of these category, I guess, limited style units. So when you are running this guy on a full crossover team, you're going to have 60% damage reduction, which is going to go really, really hard. It is just disappointing because we don't get many Wicked Bloodline upgrades, so would have loved to have seen, a bit more minimal restriction on him, but still really good when you are going to be running him on a full crossover team. And then he does seal his own super attack when HP is 20% or below. You can also see here that he does greatly raise attack and defense for 1 turn while causing supreme damage. So getting multiple of those 50% defensive buffs is definitely going to be pretty OP for him. But yeah, again, another one of these full crossover team build style of units. So then we've got Dark King Fu. He's got the Battle of Wits 130% 3 key, so something a little bit different there. For his passive, we've got attack and defense plus 150%, then an additional 150 when performing a super attack, so definitely a slot 2 or 3 unit there. He gives extreme class allies attack and defense plus 30%, so the support, we love to see that. Let's see what other restrictions he's got. So he randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to STR, which is amazing, but that is when there is another 3 or more crossover category allies on the team. If only that wasn't category restricted, that would be insane. He then gets an additional attack plus 100% with an STR key sphere obtained. Also then gets a chance of evading enemies' attack, including super, plus 10% up to 50%, and then extreme class allies key plus 1 up to 5. Also plus an additional 4% attack and defense up to 20% per STR or rainbow keys to be obtained. So very handy that they did add in the rainbow aspect there, because it can be pretty tough to get just 5 STR key spheres by themselves. Will be interesting because I'm not sure what other orb changes we will have on the crossover team, because ideally you would like him on the crossover team to be utilising that orb changing. He is also a big bad bosses unit, which I didn't mention on the others. But yes, getting up to a 50% chance is to dodge will be really, really effective, and there is a fair bit of support in there as well. Dark King Fu looks pretty good as a unit that you can like chuck onto these crossover teams. For his super attack, raises defense for 1 turn, and then seals super attack. So we get the defense on 1 turn. That's the main thing that we're after with units these days. Just some type of buff on their defense. So far, I like Fu. I love units that orb change, and also units that do support. So just jump into and look at Super Full Power, Super Saiyan 4, Limit Breaker Broly. If that isn't one of the longest names you've seen today, I don't know what is. So here's the Time Travelers, 3 key, 130. For his passive skill here, we got the key 3, 200% straight off the bat, so a pretty good start of turn number there. Gets an additional 100% when attacking. Launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super. So we'll look at his super attack effect, but looking across there, you can already see that he does get defense on super. Then launches an additional attack when facing 2 or more enemies. That's probably not going to be overly crazy. So a lot of the hardest fights in the game are against single enemies. Then launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack when there is a fused fighter enemy. So that'll be alright for sort of the Dismal Future Red Zones and the Mortal Will event, I guess. You could make that work. And you are going to be able to potentially do a ton of supers, and as I mentioned before, the super attack is the raising the defense for the 4 turns there. So not too bad. Again, just a bit restricted there. But, I mean, these heroes units always are. So let's have a look at the Vegeta. So I'm just going to call it like Berserk Blue Vegeta or something like that. That name is too long. So he is again crossover 3 key 130%. Same with basically all these units. This one's got a ton of categories, so hopefully he's good. He gets the 3 key and 180% attack and defense, so not a bad start of turn buff, and key's always really good on a TUR or an SS. No, he is a TUR. He does go to full level 120, so that's good. We don't have to wait for an awakening there. So he gets a medium chance of performing a critical hit. That's a nothing, as I've discussed previously. Plus an additional 50% attack and defense and chance of performing a crit, plus 10% per hero's category ally attacking in the same turn. So more of that nothing crit, but there is, by the looks of it, you're going to be running him on a heroes / crossover team. So you're going to get 100% there. Let's see what else there is. Plus an additional attack and defense, 40% with each super attack performed up to 120. Does he get additionals in his in here? Let's see. Plus an additional 120% attack and chance of performing a crit plus 50% when facing only 1 enemy. Launches an additional super attack and high chance of evading enemy supers when going up against 2. So that's where you can get off those multiple supers. Bit unfortunate that it isn't the other way around. I'd rather have the dodge chance when going up against 1 enemy, sorry, just because that is more often what you are going to be facing in the most difficult fights in the game. But yeah, dodge chance in there is always really good, and then he does have that additional super chance as well. For his super attack effect, he raises defense for 1 turn and then disables enemy guard. Enemy guard, that's a massive waste, to be honest, on a unit that is getting a ton of crit chance. I'm not sure why they would do that, but this Vegeta's got dodge, so straight off the base, if you are going up against multiple enemies, he looks like he could be really good, and he's got multiple tons of teams there, to be honest. So then we'll look at the Rose, Master Rose, sick art. That is absolutely fire. So straight off the bat, he's got the Dragon Ball Heroes Super Saiyan 3 or Transformation Boost 170, so that's pretty good. And then the extra 3 key goes to the crossover category. That's going to be a pretty big leader skill. Wow. Would imagine if they put a second extra 30% there, that would be insane. But he gets the 3 key and 180% attack and defense start a turn. Then an additional 150% attack and defense when attacking. That's really good. So that gets you up to the 330. Has a high chance of guarding all attacks. So 50-50 coin flip. That can be risky. Gets an additional 100% defense and guards all attacks when there's 3 or more crossover category allies on the team. I wonder if we're going to be able to make that work with like the Tech Zamasu team, running 3 crossovers. That's going to be. I think that's going to be fun with the team building to see if we can actually make that work. But anyways, we continue on. We've also launched an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack when there is a Goku enemy. So that's a 70% chance. As we go across here, you see super attack effect is raises attack and then raises defense for 1 turn. So defense on super, that's honestly all we needed to see. We'll happily take that for a super attack effect. Where is... here he is, the part 2 for the transformation. So from here, you get the 40% HP recovering, which is awesome. So you get that just the once, and then from the next turn onwards, recovers 50% at the start of each turn. That's going to be very, very handy. We love healing, especially when going for no item runs and that type of stuff. Key 4 and attack and defense 200%, then plus an additional 150% attack and defense when attacking. Raises attack and defense by 150%, the more HP remaining, the more the boost. So what's that? 200, 150, another 150. Wowee. Straight off the bat, guards all attacks. That is awesome. Launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack when there is an enemy whose name includes Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. So hopefully we get some super class red zone stages. Launches another additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super. So the ability with the hidden potential there, if you're in the right fight, you could learn into 4 supers there, and he raises attack and defense for 1 turn while causing immense damage. So I feel like he's going to be able to put up quite good numbers guarding. I think once you get transformed into Super Saiyan 3, sort of the mask gone, whatever you want to call it, full power, that looks pretty busted. And then the main unit of the celebration is the Super Saiyan 4 VEGITO, limit breaker. So let's have a look at his details as well. So we've got the Dragon Ball Heroes Giant Ape Power or Fused Fighter category, 3 key and 170 with the extra 30 to crossover. So again, what's that going to look like? That won't. I feel like we'll be able to make somewhat of a good team with that. I reckon we can definitely make that work. So activates the entrance animation upon entry, I guess. So you get the 30% crit, which isn't much chop, but you get 30% damage reduction for 6 turns. So you love to see that. Anytime you're getting damage reduction, winner chicken dinner. So key 3 and 200% attack and defense. Again, good numbers there. Plus an additional attack and defense 150% when performing a super attack. So same as Rose. And then plus an additional 100% attack and defense and great chance of launching an additional super when there is another Giant Ape Power or crossover category ally in the same turn or an enemy. So that's really good because we're not just limited to crossover here. So I automatically like this a lot more. Limited, less restrictions here. I like the look of VEGITO already. So we also get a chance of performing a critical hit plus 40% and reduces damage by 30% when all allies attacking the same turn, a Giant Ape Power crossover. So the first 6 turns, you get this guy on the Giant Ape Power or crossover team. He's got good base stats and 60% damage reduction and a 70% chance to crit. I like the look of VEGITO very much. The ability to run him on a team, you're still going to be able to bring people like the Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Yeah, no, I definitely think that is pretty fire. So definitely happy with that. Whoops, forgot to look at his super attack effects. So it is just the my screens. Yeah. Oh, he's got the active skill as well. Actually, I forgot. Can be activated when all allies are crossover characters in the same turn, starting from the third turn or sixth from the start of battle. Greatly raises attack temporarily, causes ultimate damage to enemy within the turn, and all attacks become crits. So smashing out a bit of damage there as well. So he raises attack for one turn. So no defense on super is a bit tough, but nah, looking really good. I think that is all of them. Feel free to head over and check out the Twitter. It's double underscore there is. Otherwise I couldn't get the name. But let me know your thoughts on the heroes units down below. I think we're definitely going to be able to get some use out of them. These two are really hype, and I'm really excited to start testing out the Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. I think he's going to be pretty fire, especially if the Super Saiyan 4 Vegito is really good as well. So let me know your thoughts on them down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to keep up with the content, and hopefully I'll catch you all on the next video.